I will be presenting to you, the marketing team at American Express, my analysis and evaluation of how your Amex customers navigate the journey of obtaining your American Express rewards credit card. Organizational context. American Express presents itself as a premium membership brand with a strong focus on customer value and relevance within changing digital expectations. This presentation focuses primarily on the final goal on this list from their 2025 annual report about maximizing customer experience in a changing digital landscape. This podcast depicts Jessica Ling, who is the Executive Vice President of Global Advertising for Amex. She directly discusses how their customer journey and consumer purchasing behaviors are altering in the age of AI. This aligns directly with one of American Express's core values listed on their website, entitled We Make It Great. It reads, "From our innovative products to our world-class customer service, our customers expect the best." This presentation will outline 2 ways that American Express can innovate and improve for their customers. American Express has performed strongly in the last 5 years. Their 2025 annual report shows revenue rising to $72.2 billion and their net income has increased to $10.8 billion. This slide also shows that MX has a broad online merchant acceptance, as more than 226,000 UK websites are using it as a payment solution as of February this year. Together, this evidence shows that American Express is operating from a position of growth. The focus of this presentation, therefore, is improving aspects of the customer's digital journey rather than addressing a weak overall strategy. This slide highlights customer engagement and competition as a key challenge for American Express. The Mintel data highlighted here shows that the UK credit card market, Amex sits below other providers in customer usage. The 2025 annual report shows that Amex also sees competition from a broader perspective than just the credit card category. It refers to pressure from other issuers, mobile wallets, payment platforms, premium benefits, and more. This is important to the presentation because Amex reward card customer journey takes place in a crowded market with a lot of noise. Current digital marketing strategy. This presentation now uses the core marketing ecosystem to explain how American Express creates value through their digital marketing. The CME suggests that customer value is created through connection between experience, relationships, and their relevance. The brand positions itself across their advertising as a premium digital experience, as demonstrated in these images from their recent campaign #WithAmex. Their partnerships, as demonstrated here with Wimbledon and their hotel rewards, deepen the value attached to that experience. Their relevance is outlined by the Executive Vice President of Global Advertising, Jessica Ling, in the previously shown Susie podcast. Earlier in the podcast, Jessica Ling discusses the integration of American Express with popular culture, such as an exclusive cardholder show for Olivia Rodrigo. Their value proposition, therefore, interlinks experience, partnerships, and relevance. Saeed Al-Bakr Etis and Akraf Selami found in their 2025 study that digital value rises when online environments feel more engaging and responsive. Philip Bruggen et al. Found in their paper that digital technologies should be judged according to customer context and practical value. This presentation will investigate how engaging and responsive American Express is and how AI and digital tools can be used to support customers in acquisition through to retention. To describe this customer journey, the customer persona is Grace, a 22-year-old graduate who has just started her first job. As an extrovert, she enjoys traveling and socializing, but also is financially aware and wants to make sensible decisions early in her career. Her journey can be understood through customer journey mapping, which Barry Berman described in 2020 as analyzing how customers move across a series of touchpoints over time, rather than progressing in a linear way. This map does not reflect a linear process. Customers may regress through this progression and perhaps even drop off due to friction. As Grace becomes aware of American Express, their marketing plays a central role in shaping her perception of the brand. She encounters it in high visibility environments such as televised sporting events, including F1 and the Premier League. This is reinforced through social media content, which highlights their sponsored experiences. Even then, the effectiveness of these channels differ. Their Instagram and X pages have substantial engagement that correlates to their following. However, their Facebook page appears less active. Despite this exposure, Grace does not immediately commit to American Express and decides to move into a more active participatory evaluation phase. This is a characteristic of Ahir Gopaldas and Anton Siebert's concept of some journeys being called what they call a trek. A trek journey includes taking time to make a decision, such as having checked all of their sources for things like perhaps financial future planning. She begins to validate her options through these sources rather than just relying solely on American Express's brand messaging. When she searches for credit cards using Google, this is actually a gain point for American Express's visibility, as they are recommended by Google's AI tool Gemini. However, when Grace results review platforms such as Trustpilot, American Express currently holds a 1.3 rating and their profile is unclaimed. This can introduce doubt at a critical moment of her decision. In addition to this, when Grace inputs her situation and requirements for a card into ChatGPT for their recommendation, alternative providers are prioritized. Despite these challenges, Grace continues to consider American Express and moves forward in the customer journey. Once Grace reaches their site, she's able to check her approval likelihood without affecting her credit score. This helps to encourage her progression with deciding on American Express. As she explores through all the available cards, she is presented with a large amount of information. Although comparison tools are available on this website, the experience can feel overwhelming, particularly for someone applying for their first credit card. After reviewing information on the website, Grace selects the American Express Rewards card and completes the application process. She may choose to apply directly or use a referral link, which introduces a potential social influence during her conversion. Once Grace is approved, she gains access to the card and begins using it for everyday spending. She collects points and redeems rewards, which reinforces continued usage. However, when troubleshooting occurs, customers reach out to customer service. The reviews on Trustpilot, however, predominantly refer to issues reaching out to customer service, which may be a considerable pain point. The American Express journey reflects the smooth journey model put forward in 2020 by Siebert et al. Their customers go through a process of considering their options before entering a pattern of repeated use. The friction at the key stages of the customer's engagement with third-party platforms and website navigation difficulty could critically disrupt the journey for customers. Having mapped the American Express rewards card journey, this presentation now utilizes the TRIP framework put forward in 2019 by Mike Couret and Ricky Deuce. This analysis evaluates how effectively firms perform in evolving digital spaces through transparency, responsiveness, intelligence, and personalization to decipher prospective white spaces. Firstly, in relation to trust within the industry, I scored American Express at 3 because the evidence is mixed. Fortune's 2026 Most Admired Companies ranking suggests strong institutional credibility, but the Trustpilot reviews demonstrate weaker customer perception. For communication of competences and achievements, I scored American Express at 4. The decision marketing coverage of There's Always More with #Amex shows a clear and consistent messaging across touchpoints. This shows that American Express communicates its strength effectively across these channels. For stakeholder relationships, I scored Amex at 4.5. The evidence here demonstrates their partnerships, including AEG, Formula One, Wimbledon, and the National Theatre. These partnerships indicate that Amex is building value through access to experiences. This strengthens the attractiveness of the membership during Grace's evaluation of the brand. The second dimension is responsiveness. Couret and Deuce define this as how well an organization responds to emerging market opportunities. I rated Amex at 3 for how well American Express responds to changing trends. Although Amex has been evolving with agentic AI for purchases, this slide shows that the rising use of AI chatbots is prevalent in the market. For new technologies and new practices, I rated Amex at a 4. The use of AI-powered agents is demonstrated in this chairman's letter. This letter explicitly highlights their agentic plans for new digital development. This shows that American Express is currently investing in new technological capabilities, even though the customer benefit of that investment isn't visible in the acquisition stage yet. For their competences and skills to make use of new opportunities, I also scored them at a 4. The year in review segment from their 2025 annual report shows their performance data. The new tools that elevate card membership section demonstrates the way that the company is already innovating. This demonstrates that the company has the organizational capacity to act on innovation. Couret and Deuce define the third part of the TRIP framework as the ability to acquire and utilize data and insight relevant to the industry. For how well Amex monitors changing audience trends, I scored them at a 2.5. The evidence to support this on the slide comes from YouGov's Gen Z banking behavior. This shows that younger customers, like Grace, are highly digital, and increasingly comfortable managing multiple financial relationships. This perhaps suggests that American Express may need to position themselves alongside other financial providers rather than opposing them. I scored this next section at a 3. The evidence shows that this company uses insight deliberately in campaign planning by appealing to younger people in a lifestyle format. For how proactively Amex works with other organizations and partners to gain new knowledge and insight, I rated them at a 4. The evidence on this slide is the Nectar card partnership, but they also have a British Airways card. This illustrates that Amex collaborates through external ecosystems to increase relevance and proposition value. The final part of the trip analysis is personalization. Gray and Deuce emphasize the increasing demand for personalized products and services. In rating the identification of specific audiences and markets, I gave American Express a 2.5. The extract from the Visa report highlighted here is useful in understanding what younger credit card users are looking for, including digital convenience and simplicity. In the customer journey map, it demonstrates that American Express does have an app for these purposes, but it doesn't necessarily have this in the acquisition phase. Probably very reinforced by this point, but I gave American Express a 4.5 for creating offerings that meet audience interests. The evidence on this slide shows that the company is constantly enhancing its award proposition and benefit updates. However, I scored American Express at a 2 for how well they extend their product portfolio to consumers to deliver customized experiences. The website layout on this slide shows a wide range of available card options. As outlined in the customer journey mapping, the large volume of information given on this website lacks personalized guidance for a first-time credit card user. The trip analysis suggests that American Express is strong in brand communication and innovation. However, Amex is weaker in reassurance in the evaluation stage and in personalized guided selection. Recommendations. American Express should strengthen its presence on third-party platforms by claiming and actively managing its Trustpilot profile. Claiming their Trustpilot account is proactive because the platform makes it clear that newer reviews hold more weight in the trust score. This means recent positive engagement can have a meaningful impact on how the brand is perceived. This gives American Express an opportunity to shift perceptions on this platform. The customer service team should respond directly to complaints, not only to resolve individual issues, but to signal their transparency and care to prospective clients. This would support acquisition by reducing the perceived risk at the decision stage. This would support retention by helping dissatisfied card members feel assisted and heard. Using GEO on ChatGPT would extend this further by improving discoverability amongst younger consumers who are increasingly relying on these chatbots for recommendations. As this presentation has argued, this is especially vital for younger audiences that defer to ChatGPT, especially for advice, which will help with evaluation in the acquisition stage. American Express should also introduce a personalized AI recommendation tool on its website. This prototype, created in Figma, demonstrates how this could work in practice. This tool would ask users a series of questions related to their current positioning. This could include age, income band, spending priorities, travel frequency, reward preferences, and likely repayment behavior. This tool could then recommend one or more cards suited to their needs. This tailoring of the card purchasing process could assist with any hesitation on choosing American Express as their provider. This recommendation also addresses both acquisition and retention. For acquisition, it reduces friction at the consideration stage. For retention, it also helps when customers upgrade their cards, and they can do that easily with accessible guidance provided by American Express directly. A personalized AI advisor can make their product page an interactive decision-making experience. Thank you for listening.